What's up, guys? I'm Lunatic, coach of the Broken 8 Minutes, and this draft recap is going to be a little bit different. Usually, I do a lot of editing for my draft recaps, putting the monts on screen and like with background or whatever. Um, right now, I have just a picture covering the screen because like all the monts are going to be revealed at once. So if you want to not have the entire team spoiled, uh, look away and just listen to the audio. Um, but yeah, I wanted to. The reason I'm not doing it is one, I don't feel like it. uh, and I'm working on like a couple of things already that I need to edit. So I'm like, I don't want to add one more thing to edit. And also because my team page, there have been some updates. So, uh, I'm gonna go over what's happening with the league first, and then go into the draft itself. So, for one, we are not going to be using the PWC channel. We tried it out, and it didn't work out like we hoped. And we are going to be taking. For now, we're just not going to use it. Maybe in the future we'll revisit it. Two. What's two? I should have written down a list of the things we need to talk about. Two. We changed what the acronym stands for in PWC. I don't know if it was mentioned before. But it's probably been mentioned somewhere that it stood for Pokemon World Championship. We changed it because if you try to look for that, you're not going to find us. You're going to find the actual Pokemon World Championship because that's an actual thing. So we changed it to Pokemon Was Competitive. And when was it competitive? That's up to you. What else? Oh, we also have a new logo. That will be seen in the videos, in the battle videos. I will be putting that in there. Let's see. The tiering system, we changed the tiering system a bit. This had been in the talks for a while, but we changed the tiering to be split tiers, which means there's tier 1A, tier 1B, tier 2A, tier 2B, tier 3A, tier 3B, tier 4, tier 5A, tier 5B. Tier 4 is not split because each tier goes down by 20. So starting at 180, tier 1A, down to 20 points for tier 5B. Requirements are still the same. You are required to have one tier 1, one tier 2, two tier 3s, one tier 4, one tier 5, and then 4 other of whatever you want, and a mega. And the overall point pool was 1,020 points. So you use that as you will, as long as you meet the requirements. The draft order, normally what we would do is we would have the order go from worst record, gets first pick, to champion, go across the line, and then any new additions get put on the end. This season we decided to do random. And speaking of which, we have 2 new people joining this season, which are a blue potato and it's ITZ. They have moved up to main, so congratulations to them. We have quite a number of people in this league now that have come from D League, and they've all proven to have they've proven their battling capabilities so far. So it's really exciting to have this competitiveness. What else? Tiering was changed. I think that's it. Okay, so moving on to the draft itself, I guess. I mentioned it was randomized. We got first overall pick. Now, there are a ton of first overall picks I could have gone. I could have gone Coco. I could have gone Lando T. Maybe Finny. Maybe Zygarde. Celesteela was franchise. I don't know. I'm not the kind of person that drafts like a normal person, I guess. I don't like drafting like that. And also, months before the season was even talked about starting, I already knew what I was going to get. And I told everyone. I was like, this is what I'm going to get. No one take it. But since I was first overall, no one could take it. And this one isn't even tier 1A. It's actually tier 1B. So, without further ado, I'm going to reveal the draft right now. So, as you can see, my first pick was Blacephalon. Now, I had claimed I was going to go Blacephalon, but I could have maybe been like, maybe I'll give it a round to come back. But, because I was first overall, and there were going to be 22 picks before it came back to me, I didn't feel safe that it would last that long, so I was fine with taking it first round. Blacephalon, yeah, ever since it was announced, I was like, that mon looks fucking cool. I don't care how good it is. I want to use it. And that's what I do. I use mons that I want to use. Like, what was it? 2 seasons ago? Yeah, 2 seasons ago, I first picked Mimikyu. Just because I loved Mimikyu. It was a tier 2 mon. It doesn't matter. I want to use it. So, Blacephalon. Now, I wanted to build around Blacephalon. So, I went on to Smogon, looked up Blacephalon, and like, okay, what does Blacephalon struggle with? I had a couple ideas in mind. And what I came up with, I really wanted this core of Blacephalon, Greninja, and Virizion. I think Blacephalon and Virizion, just them two, cover each other's weaknesses very well. And Greninja just help complete the trio, really. Being a water dark type with fire ghost and grass fighting, I think paired really nicely. And I wanted a fast Mega. And that was all that was really like secure. Everything else I was like willing to change. But that's what was solidified. That's what I wanted. So after I picked Blacephalon, I was like, Greninja might not be round 2 mon, but I don't care. I'm gonna get second round. So as it comes around, I believe it was Isern who was picked like 4, so he was like 3 picks before it would get back to me. He took Greninja. And I was talking to him. He was like, I'm gonna get Jirachi, then Greninja. I'm like, how about you don't take Greninja? But no, he took Greninja. And that was saddening. And with only a few picks until it was me again, I wasn't really sure what I was going to do about that, because Greninja just fit what I wanted so well, and I was like, alright, I could replace it just with another Water Dark. But there's not too many of those, and I mean, I wanted Greninja specifically. Like Sharpedo, last season, I hated it. Mega Sharpedo, we did change the rule of having to Mega turn 1. You're not forced to Mega with your first attack with your Mega Pokemon. So there were some tier changes, not just with the splitting of tiers, but also with the Megas. Mega Sharpedo went to tier 1 because it's not forced to Mega turn 1. But I didn't want to mess with Mega Sharpedo. I felt like it, I don't know. I don't really know. I just didn't want it. And then like another Water Dark, Mega Gyarados. I know I wanted my Mega to be fast, but I was like, I'm not going to take Mega Gyarados. And then I think the only other Water Dark was Crawdon. And I was like, okay. Crawdon's very slow, but I can maybe make it work. Maybe, I don't know, be able to support it in some fashion. I mean, like Banded Aquajet, yes. It gets knocked off. Its bulk is okay. I think on the Fizz Def. I think it has good Fizz Def. But it wasn't really what I wanted. But I kept it in mind. I was like, okay, maybe I'll pick up Crawdon later. So it did get to my turn, and I wasn't really sure what to take here after that. And the first mon that I went with, I picked up Komodo. And Komodo I really just picked up because I was having a hard time figuring out what dragon I wanted to use, and Komodo was just, I mean, after the buffs that's gotten in Ultra Sun and Moon, I was like, I think that it's a good mon. It's in tier 2B, I believe. I voted for it to be tier 2A. I think it has a lot of potential, but, you know, it's 2B. So, I mean, more points for me, I guess. And, I mean, I don't know if it really is worth 2A, but I think it could do a lot. It's extremely versatile. It has a large move pool. It can Dragon Dance. It can Autotomize. It can hit physical and special. It gets close combat now. Focus Blast. Like Flash Cannon. For fairies, because fairies really beat this thing down. But it does get Flash Cannon. And Poison Jab. Just a lot of things. It can also be pretty bulky. Its overall stats, like, all of its stats are fairly high as well, because it is a pseudo. And it has a good typing. Aside from being quad weak to fairy, pretty good. And I was like, it should be a fun mon. It gives me setup mon. I don't draft too many setup mons, so I was like, yeah, I'll try it out. And the mon that I picked alongside it, another typing I was struggling to find, like, definitively pick out, was a steel type. I looked at a couple of steel types. We're looking at like Scizor, Fortress. It kind of came down to those. There just weren't a lot of steel types that I was interested in for this draft. The thing about Fortress, I do enjoy Fortress. I have used it, I think it was 2 seasons ago. The thing about Fortress is, now that I played this like kind of hyper offense team from last season, I wanted to keep drafting offensively. Fortress is a pretty passive mon, and like on a more balanced team, yeah, I would get it. But this time I wanted to draft aggressively, but not like last season where it was kind of just a mess. So I wanted something that, went offensive. Scizor, I wasn't really feeling Scizor. I can't tell you why. I don't remember the reasoning. But another mon that was there that also gets Stab Bullet Punch, which is, I was heavily debating Scizor. I wanted Stab Bullet Punch. I was planning on getting Diancie. I thought Diancie was a really cool mon. Rish used it pretty well last season, and I wanted to draft a little bit of bulk this season, which would probably include slow mon, so having the option of Trick Room would be helpful. But what I ended up going with was actually Metagross. Metagross, I'm just like stealing mons from other people's teams last season. Justin had Metagross. Metagross is another, I believe he's considered a pseudo. I think he's a pseudo. He had very high attack and defense stats, and I think a good HP as well. It has Bullet Punch. It has a lot of coverage. I think it gets all 3 punches: Ice, Fire, and Electric. I could be wrong on that. It gets Agility. It gets Zen Headbutt. Meteor Mash, I believe I mentioned Bullet Punch. I think it has a useful special attack stat as well, so you can run Psychic. It can run an Assault Vest, even. I wasn't too sure about the Metagross pick. I like it. Just that I'm used to my Psychic types being especially offensive and like having some utility to them, and Metagross is really more just offensive. But I'll see how it works. So far, I still have my plan to get Virizion. I still want that. But now, I've had to mess around with picks. With Greninja gone, I really want to have a dark type, maybe even 2. My plan was to get 2, but I wasn't sure what yet. Because Bucephalon, I wanted to help out Bucephalon. So having stuff to switch into ghost attacks, I wanted that. And I also did want to get a normal type. I had no idea what normal type I wanted. When I was building my draft plan, I was like, maybe Mega Lopunny? But I was pretty certain that would go in the first round, and it was. So dark and normal were 2 things that I really wanted to get. And I had to find out a new water type, but there's so many water types, so I wasn't too worried. So next round comes, and this round I definitely took Virizion. Because I was like, I can't risk it going away, like getting taken, because this is now end of 4th, start of 5th, and that's a round 5 or 6 is a round where Virizion can get taken, so I was not going to risk that. So I pick up Virizion, and alright, I secured Virizion. The other mon that I picked was kind of just like on the whim. I was looking to get a grounded poison type, and I was like, I guess I'll just take Tentacruel. There wasn't a lot of thought put into it. I just saw Tentacruel. I'm like, I need a poison, I need a water. I'll take Tentacruel. But Tentacruel is cool. I've used Tentacruel before. I like it. It has base 100 speed, which is cool. Very, very specially defensive, and that's another thing I needed on my team. Komodo and Metagross both have good Fizz Def. Virizion and Tentacruel both have good special defense, so kind of rounding out my team. Its special attack is only 80, but it uses Scald, so I think 80 is acceptable for a Scald user. And it's a cool mon. Yeah. It also gives me a spinner, which is pretty important. I have 2 rockers and a spinner at this point. Komodo did get it in the new games. And hazard removal was something that I didn't think about too much. Which of course I should, considering I have Bucephalon. So yeah, Tentacruel just kind of made his way into my team. So the next round comes around. I really wanted Ribombee on this next round. Because I wanted a resist to fighting and ground. Fighting, it's not that my team's weak to fighting, but I didn't have a lot of resistances to fighting on my plan. I have Bucephalon there. Metagross, my Psychic type takes neutral, and then Tentacruel to resist, but the stuff that I was planning to get struggled with fighting. And I wanted stuff to do with ground because Bucephalon, Metagross, and Tentacruel are all weak to ground, with Virizion being my only resist so far. I really wanted Ribombee. It would also give me a 124 speed mon, which was good because it bridged the gap between Verizion's 108 and my planned Mega Electric at 135. What I was hoping to get. So it worked out pretty well in my mind. Unfortunately, Justin took Ribombee, and I was pretty upset with that. He got it because Primarina was sniped from him, but that's his own fault because he didn't take it sooner, even though he told me he was going to. So that's on you, which in turn is on me. Like, why am I getting punished for him messing up? But yeah, him taking Ribombee, that was kind of rough. And then also in that round, I wanted to pick up Crocodile. It was the dark type, and it was the ground type that I needed. I needed both of those. And Destin took that right before me. Well, actually, 2 picks before me. And that one really hurt because I had no idea what ground type I wanted now. Crocodile fit perfectly in terms of my speed tiers at 92. It was perfect. Komodo was 85. And then I had Tentacruel at 100. I needed something in the 90 speed. That got taken, and I was like, okay, I have no idea what I want now. Into the dark types, I kind of narrowed it down to Sneasel, Weavile, and Crawdont. And then I did want an ice type because ice is such a good offensive type. I think it's useful to have a mon with stab ice on your team. So I was thinking, I could also get like Piloswine, the ground type with ice, and then maybe pair that with Crawdont. or I can get Sneasel/Weavile and then find another ground type somewhere. It was a mess. What I ended up going with after these two snipes was Togekiss and Weavile. Now the reason I'm sighing, I guess, with Togekiss is because I fucking hate Serene Grace. I think Serene Grace is a stupid ability. I don't if they just changed it to, instead of doubling, to being 1.5, that would make it maybe bearable. It's just it shouldn't make it so that hacks is in your favor. It shouldn't be over 50%. If you 1.5 times 30, that gives you 45%. Now it's almost 50-50, but still not in your favor to hack. But how it currently is, goes from 30 to 60, which is stupid. So I hate Togekiss. I would like it if it didn't have Serene Grace. Same thing with Jirachi, which was drafted. But Togekiss fit what I needed. It was something for ground types. It was a fairy that I was lacking. It gives me defog. It's pretty bulky. And, I mean, it's quad weak to fighting. And those were the things that I was asking for, and it fit. So, got Togekiss. Base 80 speed is an okay speed. It gets Nasty Plot, so it can even set up, or it could just be an asshole and just Scarf Air Slash. So yeah, Togekiss is on the team. And then the other Mon, Weavile. Weavile tier 1A, which I personally don't agree with. I think it should be 1B. I mean, it has a good speed of 125, and I think attack of the same number, 125. I don't know, that's just me. It is a good Mon. I used it before briefly. Very, very briefly in a league that didn't last. But I was like, I'm willing to give it another shot, and like I mentioned before, it fits what I need. I need a dark, and I need an ice, and it does give me a speed tier before my hopeful Mega Man Electric. And I don't think anyone was going to take Mega Man Electric because a lot of people had taken their electric types already or their megas. So there was only a handful of people that were capable of doing it, and I was reaching out to them asking, what they were into so that they wouldn't take it. So I felt pretty good that I would get Mega Man. So yeah, Weavile. Ice Shard, Ice Blue Crash, Knockoff, and then sometimes maybe like Natural Gift. I have to remember that Natural Gift, I can't run Ice Blue Crash and Natural Gift. That's something I have to keep in mind. That's illegal. I would have to run like Ice Punch. It also gets Poison Jab for fairies. I don't think its move pool is too crazy. I know it gets Low Kick as well. But its move pool is not crazy. It's just that Dark and Ice are two very good offensive types. And it's fast and it hits hard. So it does its job. Next round, I had to come up with... I had my Mega planned. So I had 3 picks, basically, left. I needed a ground type still, and I needed a normal type. And that's what I was working on. And what I came up with was a Mon that I didn't expect myself to ever draft, but I was like, my team just, nothing's weak to grass. I have, 5 resists to grass, and then Tentacle, who's a water type, only takes neutral. My team deals very well with grass types. And I was like, okay, you know what? It's fine if I get a quad grass with Mon. So I picked up Swampert. I don't see Swampert used too often. But I looked at its stats. It has pretty good stats, pretty bulky. Usually I see it just brought as fat, just like a toxic whatever Mon. But it's bulky and it can hit pretty hard. It's kind of slow. But it's a rocker, which I mentioned. I wanted another one because on Metagross, I may want to run offensive. So having a third rocker that's on the bulkier end was preferred. But yeah, now I have 2 water types. but one is not weak to grass and the other one's immune to electric. So I feel fine having those two like that. And then the normal type that I picked up, I wanted another speed gap between 125 and 100. So I picked up Ambipom. Now, Ambipom's ugly. 100%. That boy doesn't have a nose. Apom's cute as hell, but they made Ambipom ugly. But it does what I want. Technician and Skill Link are two good abilities. Technician Fake Out, Skill Link with Tail Slap, and does it get a... I'm not... I want to say it gets Bullet Steep, but I might be getting confused with Cinccino. But yeah, Ambipom. It also gives me a U-turner. I have no momentum except for the Mega Manectric that I'm going to pick up later. So it was nice to pick up another mon that gets momentum. And yeah, Ambipom. Gets some coverage moves, but one on normal type. And yeah, apparently, Ambipom was a snipe on Carlos, which I don't believe because it's a tier 4 mon, and Carlos doesn't use tier 4. Except Seismitoad, which isn't tier 4 anymore. So he doesn't use tier 4 or 5. Metagross was also a snipe on him. I felt a little bad for Carlos, but it was strange. I didn't anticipate him to want either of those ones, Metagross or Ambipom. But that's unfortunate. There's plenty of snipes, so that happens. So it comes back around, and at this point, Mega Manectric's secure. Teams that have franchised are done, but the wheel needs to go back one more time. So here, I do pick up the Mega Manectric. That is secured. So now, I have to fill out my tier 5 slot. That's the only thing I'm missing. And what I wanted was something that, 90s speed range. 90s. I had thought about, Zangoose and, Kangaskhan, but of course, I did end up going with Ambipom instead. So I was like, I don't really know. I reached out to a couple people to ask, and some suggestions I got were a Murkrow as kind of a gimmicky mon, or a Oricorio. Oricorio was something I was debating, because I do get to use all 4 forms. But I wanted the mon in this 90 speed range because it was, I think, a necessary speed range. I wanted it to be something that I could see myself bringing fairly often, not something that people could look at Team Massive and be like, this mon's guaranteed not coming. So the mon I ended up going with was Frogadier. Frogadier is base 97 speed. It is allowed to use Protean. So it is technically a third water type, but I can't change its type by attacking first. And it's a mini Greninja. Its stats aren't that good, but the Protean does give it the boost. And there are a couple moves that Frogadier doesn't know, that only Greninja can get. So I weighed the options. I looked at the move list between the two mons, and I was like, I am willing to lose out on these couple moves. So Water Shuriken, it doesn't get Night Slash, it doesn't get Map Block, but I'm not gonna use Map Block. And a couple others. I don't want to reveal everything just in case it comes in handy that someone doesn't know that Frogadier doesn't even get the move. But yeah, I was fine with those couple of moves not being in my arsenal. But yeah, Frogadier. Yeah, I don't really know what to say about Frogadier. But yeah, it has the same special attack as Meowstic, I believe, 83. It's okay. It's fine. Frogadier is good. It's good. So yeah, that is my team. Blacephalon, Kamao, Metagross, Tentacle, Ambipom, Frogadier, Fryzion, Togekiss, Weavile, Swampert, and Mega Manectric. The Z captains are Blacephalon, Kamao, Fryzion, which I knew right away that they were going to be. And of course, you've noticed at this point, I do have a new team logo. This was a commission by Muse the Best, and he was fucking amazing. He worked with me every step of the way to make this perfect. I think it looked great. I changed up my the colors I used for my team page and stuff from being just different pinks to match the logo, which is this dark green and pink and purple, which I think looked really cool. But yeah, he did a fucking incredible job on that. And I think that's everything. That is my team. I've already thought that, there might be things that I want to swap out. I'm not sure if this is going to be the final. I'm going to test out this team for a few weeks and see if there's any weaknesses in the team itself that I'm missing in terms of typing and stuff. I'm not really. And of course, speed tiers I have covered, but I'm going to see how it works out with what I have. It's pretty different from what I use. And Toad, because it's not something I would have expected to draft. But yeah, that is the team. Thank you for watching. I don't think this is as long as my team builder. Draft analysis usually. I think they're usually longer. But yes, that's it. That's the team. And I'll see you guys with the battles coming soon.